Welcome to today's video, where we unpack why banking on future raises or performance plans can quietly sabotage your financial life. We will connect the dots between unstable income, oversized fixed costs, and career risk signals like performance improvement plans. By the end, you will know how to create margin in your budget, protect your career, and act decisively when a pay cut or PIP hits. Let's begin. First, we will outline why basing big financial decisions on projected income, rather than current, confirmed pay, is a critical mistake. Next, we will examine what a performance improvement plan usually signals, and why waiting for a pay bump is risky. Then, we will identify the two major budget killers, housing and transportation, and show how they consume margin. After that, we will move into an emergency action plan with concrete steps to stabilize quickly. We will also review essential professional boundaries that protect your career. Along the way, we will test your understanding with quick quizzes. Finally, we will wrap with key takeaways and your next steps. This video is for educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, legal, or human resources advice. Your situation is unique, and you should consult a qualified professional before making decisions about your employment, housing, or debt. To begin, the primary mistake is committing to large, fixed expenses based on income you expect to earn later, rather than the pay you currently receive. When fixed costs consume 70% or more of your paycheck, you eliminate the margin that protects you from shocks. This often happens when someone signs a high-rent lease or finances a car, assuming a raise or bonus will arrive. The underlying issue is confusing optimism with a plan. Hope alone is not a strategy, and fixed commitments are unforgiving when income drops. Now, let us address performance improvement plans. Despite the hopeful label, a PIP frequently serves as documentation that precedes termination. Similarly, surprise pay cuts rarely bounce back automatically. Therefore, the best move is to start an aggressive job search immediately. Do not wait for your old pay to be reinstated. Instead, plan as though it will not return. This mindset prevents you from taking on additional risk while your situation is unstable. Question: you are placed on a PIP after a surprise pay cut. What is the most prudent immediate action? Options: A. Wait it out and hope the salary returns. B. Disclose personal struggles to human resources to explain performance. C. Begin an aggressive job search while cutting expenses. D. Take on credit card debt to cover the gap temporarily. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is C. Begin an aggressive job search while cutting expenses. A PIP and a pay cut together signal instability. You need to move quickly to secure new employment, while simultaneously reducing spending to preserve cash. Next, let us identify the budget categories that quietly eliminate margin. First, housing should sit near 30% of net income. When rent alone reaches 50%, any pay reduction or job loss becomes catastrophic. Second, transportation can consume 35 to 40% for low to moderate earners when car payments, insurance, and fuel are combined. Reducing car dependency is often the fastest path back to solvency. The diagram illustrates a healthier target allocation that preserves savings and reduces discretionary spending. Now, let us compare a typical stressed budget with an adjusted version. In the before scenario, housing at $1,600 on a $3,200 net income consumes 50% alone, while transportation at $1,000 drives total fixed costs unacceptably high. In the after scenario, housing is reduced to around $960, transportation to $480, and discretionary spending is sharply cut, freeing approximately $940 for savings and debt buffering. The target percentages guide you toward a resilient allocation that preserves margin. Question: what is the recommended maximum percentage of net income that housing should consume in a healthy budget? Options: A. 70%, B. 50%, C. 30%. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is C. 30%. Keeping housing around 30% of net income preserves the margin needed for savings and to withstand income volatility. Moving forward, implement an emergency action plan. First, start an aggressive job search today, targeting 10 to 20 high-quality applications per week. Second, Eliminate discretionary spending by canceling subscriptions and avoiding dining out. Third, do not use credit cards to cover ongoing shortfalls, as that accelerates debt. Fourth, reevaluate fixed costs by selling an expensive vehicle or breaking a lease if the long-term burden is greater than the short-term penalty. Fifth, negotiate bills immediately, including rent, insurance, phone, and utilities. Sixth, find rapid income boosts through gig work, contract roles, or weekend shifts. And finally, track your cash weekly and prioritize building a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. This flowchart illustrates the exact decision path during an income shock. It begins by asking whether there is a performance improvement plan or a pay cut. If yes, it checks whether fixed costs fit within 50% of net income. If they do not, the sequence directs you to cut discretionary spending to zero and then reassess. If you remain negative, you move to selling the car or breaking the lease, followed by an aggressive job search. Then you track weekly applications, prepare for interviews, and network until a new offer is secured. Finally, you rebuild margin to the target 30 to 50%. If your fixed costs are already manageable, you still proceed with an aggressive search. If there is no income shock, you simply maintain margin and keep your search warm. This mind map shows how assumptions about income create systemic risk. The fixed costs branch highlights high rent, car loans, insurance, and utilities. The income volatility branch includes performance improvement plans, demotions, layoffs, and variable commissions. The cash flow branch shows how margin loss leads to emergency fund gaps and credit card dependence. The career branch underscores professional boundaries and the danger of creating a documentation trail through inappropriate disclosures. The mitigations branch lists the concrete actions: downsize housing, sell the car, negotiate bills, diversify income, and build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Here we compare fixed and variable costs. Fixed costs include rent, car payments, insurance, phone plans, and internet. They are difficult to change quickly because they are often bound by contracts and consume a large portion of cash flow each month. When income drops, fixed costs become the main source of financial stress. Variable costs include food, utility usage, entertainment, and travel. They are flexible and can be adjusted weekly, often cut to near zero in emergencies. Therefore, variable costs are your first and fastest lever for immediate savings, while you work on restructuring fixed obligations. Additionally, protect your career by keeping strict professional boundaries. Avoid positioning severe personal issues as the primary explanation for performance declines. Management may interpret such disclosures as instability, which can serve as justification for formal documentation and actions, including pay cuts or placement on a performance improvement plan. Maintain communication that is factual, job-focused, and solution-oriented. Now let us codify the approach. The margin formula is net income minus fixed costs minus essential variable costs. Use guardrails: housing near 30% of net income, transportation near 15%, and savings or buffer at 20% or more. Use the checklist to execute. Cut discretionary spending to zero. Negotiate every bill immediately. Seek income boosts this week, and build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. As a rule of thumb, if fixed costs exceed 50% of net income, prioritize restructuring immediately. To summarize the essentials: avoid basing fixed commitments on future income. Treat performance improvement plans and pay cuts as warnings, and act quickly. Keep housing near 30% of net income and maintain lean transportation costs. Cut discretionary spending first and restructure fixed costs next. Conduct an aggressive job search while rebuilding your cash buffer. In closing, remember that projected income is not spendable income. Plan from confirmed pay only. Margin is your shock absorber, so protect it relentlessly. When alarms sound, such as a performance improvement plan or a pay cut, act immediately. Prioritize stability first by securing cash flow. Then optimize for growth once you are stable. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who needs a plan, and subscribe for more practical money and career tactics. Share your stories and questions in the comments. Your experience could help someone else avoid a costly mistake.